Gentlemen, Josh DeLesser here, coming to you from Appleton, Wisconsin, by which I mean Appleton, Wisconsin. It's in the low double digits, if not the single digits. Anyway, I want to talk to you a little bit about leadership. And I never thought I'd be in one of these guy holds the camera and walks around saying things videos, so I'm kind of excited. Forgive me if I'm a little silly. Anyway, Hebrews 11 is what comes to mind when I think of leadership. And it's one of those things like, if you say Hebrews 11 and you call it the Hall of Faith, I will headbutt you in the throat. It's been said so many times that joke is played out. Let's not do it anymore. But that is what it is, because it's all about heroes of the faith, leaders of the faith. Starts with Abel, way back, all the way back. Goes all the way up through the judges, through Samson, that kind of thing. And Paul is talking about what it means to live the life of faith and to be a leader. The thing that strikes me as I read it is what is missing from there. Hebrews 11 covers thousands and thousands and thousands of years. There are hundreds and hundreds of years, centuries between each one of these guys. And these aren't the only guys of faith. And so that's what's kind of interesting. There's certainly all kinds of people of faith, men and women of faith, all through the history of Israel, all through the history of the church, and they're left out. And it brings to mind one of these quotes that I've read from the Count of, what the heck, where was he from? I can't remember, I'm sorry. But his quote, he says, "Live, preach the gospel, and be forgotten. Live, preach the gospel, and be forgotten," from the Count of Zinzendorf. What does that mean to you? Does that mean that you live with a certain amount of purpose to the point that your own glory and your own ego stroking is gone? Do we live like that? Have you found that kind of purpose in the gospel, in your family, in loving your wife, to say, I'm going to be one of the gaps in the famous Hall of Faith, and I'm all right with that. I'm okay with that. I don't have to be recorded and remembered. I have to live with faith in the moment I've been given. Something to think about. Hard for me. I was a pastor of a small church, and just through a bunch of circumstances, I'm not in the church as a pastor anymore. And it's difficult for me because every time I've met an ex-pastor or former pastor, I've always wondered, what did he do? Or what did she do? What did they screw up? Not really anything to say about that, even in our circumstances. It's interesting though, but every time I put somebody in a box, I always end up in it myself. So maybe I did end up in it this time, who knows? But I am in a place where I'm kind of preach the gospel in that formal sense and be forgotten. And I have to live out to see if I really believe that. But to me, my whole experience has been that preaching the gospel and living the gospel and making an impact for the gospel has a lot more to do with what goes on with a lot more to do than with what goes on in the pulpit. There's a lot more to it. Anyway, those are my thoughts. It's cold. I'm going inside.